and
Okay.
yeah, so my office is in Calabasas, which is located in Los Angeles.
Okay, perfect. I just wanted to make sure. Sometimes California is just so big and there's so many incredible people.
Calabasas is where the Kardashians made it big.
Oh gosh, there we go. Well, I would say Brad Roth.
There you go.
That's my humble
opinion.
Look
at you, Greg Fowler.
Forget the Kardashians.
That's right.
We got Brad Roth here, but Brad, I'm super excited about it. You're an absolute legend, and there's so much that we're going to be covering today for everybody out there who doesn't know who you are, and really just asking the questions to get to know you as a man, as a professional, and everything in between. But Brad, let's just start with the first question, which is kind of telling everybody a little bit about yourself and your journey. So where you started from, what your path was, and what led you up till today.
Great. Thank you so much. So I started in real estate in 1998. Previous to that, I was an actor. It's always been in my blood, acting. And I kind of felt like, I was going to be a big superstar, but in Los Angeles, everyone feels like they're going to be a big superstar. So I was a bartender on 3rd Street in Santa Monica and a couple places in Hollywood, and I was acting. And that's how we did it back in the late 80s and 90s. And my dad sat me down and he's like, "Look, son, the buck stops here. What do you want to do with your life? You quit college because you want to be a big superstar. How's it going?" And I'm like, "Wow, I get it." So then I actually got into car sales.
Wow.
In the mid 90s. And I liked it, but it was like, you're a car salesman. It wasn't nothing against car salesmen, but it wasn't really for me. I was really good at it.
Right.
But it just wasn't for me. So I started taking real estate classes, and I called Pinnacle, which is the company I'm at now. And they said, "Look, let us know when you get your license." There was no internet then, by the way. That's not how you had to go to class, study, and
physically walk in.
Yeah. And I said, "Okay, well, I'll let you know when I pass my test." And then I called and I said, "Hey, I finished the classes. I'd like to come in." And they go, "Oh, no, just wait till you pass your test." And I'm like, "No." And I just showed up here, and we had one office at the time. We have 12 now. And I just started walking around, and I remember the owners going like, "Does he work here?" Like they didn't even know who I really was. And I was just shadowing people. Wow. And it was that kind of persistence that they liked. And then I just soaked up and took every class I could that they offered and followed people around. And I'll never forget, good for your listeners who are getting into real estate or maybe having a tough time.
Yeah,
I was broke, and I didn't want to ask my parents, my dad, for any money. And I remember I was driving around, and I had no money, and I was paying for things with nickels, dimes, and quarters. Wow. So I called up the top 10 real estate agents in my area. I said, "Hi, you don't know me, but my name is Brad Roth, and I'd like to take you to lunch. And I'd like to ask you questions." And I literally was paying for lunches with nickels, dimes, and quarters. Wow. I was buying my suits for $3 at a thrift store. I looked like I was from Goodfellas. I slicked my hair back. It was, I might even have a picture. Hold on.
Oh, I'd love that, Brad.
I had a book. Here it is. So this is the very first notepad I ever had. And this is from Pinnacle, where I'm at now. And let's see if you can see that. Can you see that?
Oh, look at that guy.
Slicked back hair, $3 suit. Pager number on here, by the way.
But look sharp, man. Look, you made that suit.
I had to do what I had to do, and I was taking people out and just doing the best I can and not taking no for an answer. Wow. And in the meantime, my mom had gotten diagnosed with Alzheimer's at 54.
Yeah.
And I was 26, and my brothers and sisters were like, "Hey, look, you concentrate on real estate. We're going to take care of mom." And I go, "No, absolutely not. I'm a man. I would like to provide as well and help out." And I'll never forget taking my mom with me to my office and going, "Mom," because she was losing her mind. She had Alzheimer's at 54. Beautiful. And I'd sit her in a corner. I'd say, Mom, if you could just sit here for a little while, we can go to McDonald's after and then get ice cream and then go to the arcade. And she was like a 6-year-old. She was like, oh my God, thank you.
Wow.
And I would take her with me on appointments. And that was my motivation. And then I've always carried this I keep this in my drawer. This is a picture of my mom and I. I was 15 here. And so I don't know if you can see her.
Yeah.
And this is how she looked when she got sick. And I always keep that in my drawer as motivation for just doing better in life and remembering what my why is. And then it went from my mom to getting married and having children. Always the thing I always try to tell people is, what's your why? Why are you doing this? Why are you here? What do you want to accomplish and who do you want to impact?
Wow, Brad, it's absolutely incredible. And thank you so much for sharing that. It's not easy to, kind of share that vulnerability with family, and especially with something that's so tragic, with that. And there's so many people who are tuning in right now live with us or after the fact, and they've had a family member impacted that way. And it's a terrible thing. And the fact that you spend as much time as you can and support and remember them for how they were and all the things, that just knowing that what's really important in life and in this world, and you represent that, you still move forward, you keep growing.
You have to.
It's just ultra positive in that messaging, Brad, but it also shows your character. It shows your strength and about family and what really means to you. And as your career and your life evolves. So when you're talking about that, Brad, and again, just the story of, you're paying for food with, taking these top producers out with change and putting the work in and not taking a no for an answer. And then, transitioning from career path to career path. There's not a one size fits all. And you have done this in such a beautiful way. I mean, 24 years in the business, right? I mean, this is not your first rodeo, my friend.
No.
So there's so much love and growth and experience in there. So take us from that part of your life and your career up until today. What was the path like? And just shed some light on that.
I think a big part of it is picking a company that has your back, supports you.
Yep.
My company, for me at Pinnacle, they have always been, what can I do to help support you as an agent? I think when you're at a company that puts you, an agent, as the agent first, you're going to be much more successful in anything you do.
Wow.
But I think what you kind of hit the nail on the head is having that drive and perseverance to, I've always believed that the cup is half full, not half empty. So when a problem arises, I don't pity poor me that this has happened. I say, okay, it happened, and how do we go from here?
Wow.
How do we turn it around and make it better? And I'm a big believer, a lot of agents, I follow this real estate mastermind on Facebook, which I find to be fascinating, because I have to remind myself all the time that people deal with things differently. But I look at the real estate mastermind like, wow, what can I learn? And I go on it and all I see is people cracking jokes, not being serious. They've got a perfect forum where they can be asking the right questions and they're not. I see that certain people will ask a question and then other people will jump on them and bully them. And I say, gosh, how horrible is that someone is asking a question and then being bullied for wanting to gain knowledge?
Wow.
So I think if we all in life could just be a little kinder to one another as agents, as clients, as people in our profession, it adds more validity and it adds more credibility to who we are.
Well said, Brad. I mean, you're speaking from the heart that way, but as a true practitioner, and not only have you grown an incredible business and reputation, but on top of that, you're doing so many incredible things, that you're sharing your knowledge and that experience and that motivation, inspiration. You have an incredible podcast. And anybody who's tuning in, whether you're watching live or listening after the fact, you need to subscribe to this man's podcast. It's a must. And again, Brad sheds so much light and detail, and he has incredible guests from all over. And the questions and the thought processes are just so enlightening. And again, I can't say enough positive things about all things real estate. And if you're watching, you can see his icon behind him. Very classy, very, very tastefully done, my friend. But and Brad, so can you tell everybody a little bit about your podcast and kind of tuning in to that sort of thing when you go and launch that sort of thing?
Definitely. So I usually launch every Wednesday.
Love it.
New episode. I'm in the midst right now of another 20 interviews. I try to get them in the pipeline, as you know, Greg.
Unreal.
Greg's been on it, and it's a lot of fun. I try to grab, like Greg, the biggest influencers in real estate through the United States, who have different stories. And I it's interesting when I'm interviewing different top producers from all over, I like to ask their secrets. And I find that we're all pretty much the same, that it's hard work. My motto is, just work yourself into a good mood, right? You're one deal away from a good mood. And most people feel the same way. They just work. And when they lift their heads, they're like, "Whoa, I got 4 escrows. This is great." So I just want to give back. My dad, who recently passed as well, his motto was have an attitude of gratitude and always help the little guy. And I love to help people and to put my hand out there and help somebody up. And I love when my agents now come back to me and say, Brad was a big influence in my career. There's nothing that for me makes me feel better than knowing that I had a part in someone's life.
Wow. Gosh. And I know that that's coming from not just the people that you work with as your colleagues, right? But also as your clients and your family, and treating everybody that way, as your dad had mentioned, is just a beautiful, thought process into that. And you are so giving and so knowledgeable of everything, Brad. I do want to give everybody who's watching a shout out with this. Is you are available for people to actually jump on a live 30-minute coaching call, right? So can you tell everybody a little bit about that, just for a little bit?
Well, I find that a lot of agents are, like I said, with that real estate mastermind, they're getting berated and bullied and they don't know where to go. So on my website, atrepodcast.com,
perfect.
You can go and sign up for a free coaching session with me. And I don't think enough people do it who should. I don't know if they're scared but I'm here you can ask me anything you want. Anything from just starting out to, hey, Brad, I got a question about this deal I'm doing. What would you do? Or how would you overcome this? Or, hey, anything. And I just feel like it's important to be able to help facilitate people's needs and wants and make a difference. So I am here for whoever wants to ask me. And if you're a buyer or seller and you want to get a hold of me, come on. And just go on and say, hey, when it says, book a free, consultation with me, just say, hey, I've got a question. I don't care if I'm in your area or not. If you have a question, whether it comes to negotiating, picking an agent, whatever you need, I'm here to help. And it's free.
Wow. What a good man. What a good man, Brad. And the thing is, everybody, we haven't even scratched the surface of this man's knowledge yet. We're just getting involved in it, but I wanted to get the background. I wanted to get the story into there. Before we go to the tactical side, because everybody tunes in, they want to learn from the Titans. They want to learn from the true pros and how they've grown and scaled their business. But I want to bring us back to the beginning, Brad, because I find this to be super fascinating. Anybody that knows me, I love film. The fact that you were and are still an actor into that realm. I mean, what I have here, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Beverly Hills 90210, Saved by the Bell. You've got literally there was one more recently. General Hospital. So Brad, I got to ask you this.
Yes.
What about acting initially got you into that thought process? But then I also want to follow it up with, what was the most interesting or bizarre story that you ever had or could think of as you were an actor? But go ahead. So what got you into it in the first place?
So It's in my blood. My little cousin right now, I mean, like it's just always been in my blood. So my mom was an actress. She studied at Goodman Theater in Chicago.
Wow.
Which is huge.
Mhm.
I just loved it. I did a lot of plays when I was younger, and I always wanted to do it. My parents would say no until you're 18. So interesting story.
Yeah.
Interesting story is this. I broke up with my girlfriend my senior year.
Mhm.
And I'm not taking her to prom.
All right.
So I never went to prom. So
Hmm.
prom night, I filmed a movie with Trauma Entertainment called Fortress of America. It was the first movie I ever did. It was one of those really bad B movies. I played a mercenary.
That's awesome.
Then that's it. So I missed my prom.
Yeah.
Fast forward to 90210.
Mhm.
And I started doing some extra work because I needed extra money. And I was like, oh, whatever.
Yeah.
And I started to learn to become friends with the cameramen and the ADs. Next thing you know, they're calling me back and I'm getting featured and they're cutting the commercials on me. So I started it was on it for like 2 years. I would get a line here or there. It was fun. But that is the only prom I've ever been to, was the Beverly Hills 90210 prom. I'm featured in it quite a bit. And you'll see me. You watch the prom when Donna Martin gets drunk. And you will see me freaking and dancing. Freaking is a way of dancing in the 90s.
Nice.
Having a good time. They cut the commercial on me. When there's just a lot of that. And I learned just kind of like in real estate, do your job, show up, smile, and be everywhere where there's an opportunity. And
Huge.
it's, it's in my blood. So the best story I would say, because there's stories I can tell now. I can't tell now because
that's fair.
Just because of cancel culture of what I saw.
Sure.
That I just wouldn't want to get anyone in trouble, but I saw some interesting things go on.
Yeah.
But the coolest thing I always think is the only prom I've ever been to is the Beverly Hills 90210 prom.
Yeah, there are worse proms to be at. I think
it was fun. It was
my
fun.
Prom versus that prom, I'd rather go to that prom. I don't know about you.
Story too is they filmed that at the Bellage Hotel in West Hollywood. Fast forward to 2004, I got married at the Bellage Hotel in West Hollywood.
Get out of here.
Well, my fake prom and my wedding were at the same place.
Oh my gosh. A very memorable location, my friend, for two events.
Yes,
that's insane, Brad. And I just love that. I know we could talk about film all day long, and I find it to be fascinating. And again, just being able to pull out what you had mentioned as far as being in the places where there's opportunity and really kind of seizing that moment. I love that transition for the advisory piece, because like I said, so many people tune in and they want to learn from the best and brightest. So Brad, if you could, I guess, look back at your career thus far and because you've had so much experience through life, but anything that you could give, that helped growth or scale, or you saw the needle move.
I've got a great one.
Yeah. Love it.
Whether you're an actor, a real estate agent, or anything you do in life, be coachable. So I'll give you an example. You had mentioned General Hospital. So I went to a workshop with Mark Teschner. Mark Teschner is the casting director of General Hospital. So I did his workshop, I did a scene and he ripped me apart in class. He ripped on me.
Yeah.
And I just left and I was like, whoa. And then he gives me another scene. He goes, come back in a week and let me see this. So I called my scene partner and went to his house and we studied and we did it and we role played and I worked because no one's going to tell me how bad I am.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take his direction. I went back and I tore it up and I was so proud of it. And before I left, he was talking to someone else and he grabs me, he looks at me and he goes, great job. And I went, wow, thank you. And I just thought that was the last I've ever heard from him. 2 weeks later, I get an email. Would you like to be on General Hospital? Would love to have you as play a gang member. And I still don't know if I was in Sonny's gang or the other guy's gang. I just know that I got shot. I was bleeding on the floor and my line was, help me.
I believed it. I believed it, Brad.
And then I died. But you know what I did? I showed up went to work, said thank you, and I left.
Wow.
Because you got to be professional wherever you go. You
Mm.
show up to work, people see it.
Mm.
If you're professional, people see it, and they will, work begets work.
Wow.
So the thing that I can tell you to answer your question is, be coachable. When you're coachable and humble enough to take someone's criticism and be humble about it and take it to heart and say, okay, they're telling me this to make me better, not to put me down.
Mm-hmm.
What can I take from that? There you go. Good things happen. And just be kind to one another.
Brad, when you're mentioning those things and that advice, it's so fundamental for all of us to take to heart is really looking at it, being a constant student, really looking to those mentors or the individuals who have had some experience in life and have something to reflect on and hopefully positive knowledge, right? Just because you've been in a market, you've been doing something for a while, doesn't mean that you're the best person to learn from. And ultimately, you have to be able to take that in and through humility. And I love that aspect. And that's how growth happens. And correct me if I'm wrong, Brad, but you have incredible people on your show. And I'm very blessed and fortunate to have incredible people as well. And when you look at it, it's so many people sharing knowledge and just open. And if we just took a second to listen.
That's right. That's right. Greg, the old saying was, and I loved it when I started in real estate, and I would just listen to every seminar I could and do everything. We didn't have podcasts back then, right?
Wow.
And they would say, just because you get dressed, you put your suit on, and you show up at the office, doesn't mean you're actually working. So when I'm interviewing these people and I'm listening to their stories like you are, I myself am trying to learn what can make me better. What can I take from that person and incorporate it into my life, whether it be meditation or doing a mantra. I find that the worst thing we can do is not only be hurtful to other people, but be hurtful to ourselves. We have to remember what is in between our two ears, not to be filling that with negativity.
Wow. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. And again, the guilty by association process pops into the thoughts and to say, hey, it's everything in our life that we consume, Brad. It's the food that we eat and the conversations we have, the books we read, the travel we do, the movies we watch, right? I mean, all of that.
Listen, you have to have a regimen. Every day I wake up and I go to the gym. And after the gym, I spend 10 minutes meditating at the gym. Wow. I go find a place on the mat and I just lay there. I have my earbuds in and I listen to a guided meditation.
Love it.
And then I get up, I stretch and I leave. And I feel like I have a little bit more balance in my life. And I watch what I eat because, like you said, how you feed yourself, how you feed your mind, everything is going to have an effect on your life. And if you're not happy with your life, change your life. Change it. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to the people around you to be better.
Gosh, I mean, I love this, Brad. And again, I can't stress enough, anybody who is listening or watching this, man, you're getting a taste. He does a show every single Wednesday, All Things Real Estate Podcast. You got to subscribe. You got to listen. If you want more of him, we're going to have links in the comments and the show notes as always, but schedule that free, consultation and meeting with Brad and ask him the questions and learn from the best and brightest. And I can't stress that enough. There's just so much here, Brad. And I encourage everybody to follow you on social media. We'll have links down below, but we discussed before we went live that you're doing some things with TikTok. So I would love to share that just for a second too.
Right. So I love it. So I signed up and started doing TikToks. I do 3 to 4 a day. And everything is real estate based. all educational. But I even have some personas on there. So I have Stoner Brad, who has long hair down here with sunglasses and a Hawaiian shirt, where he talks to Brad, asking him questions. But you'll learn everything you ever wanted to know about real estate. And then you can also send me a DM through TikTok that says, hey, Brad, what's that? Ask me anything you want, and I'll do a TikTok on it.
Gosh, that's huge. And I love Stoner Brad, by the way. I love the persona, the character is so great. Cool. It's so great.
Right, dude, what's happening?
The long hair.
No.
It just looks so great. But gosh, Brad, you and I love our conversations. And again, it's just a blessing and an honor to have you on Real Estate Titans here. And you're just such a wealth of knowledge, and your character and integrity just exudes from everything that you mention and live. But I can't thank you enough, my friend, for taking the time.
Listen, I love your show. I listen to it every week. You are amazing. Your enthusiasm is wonderful. And from one enthusiastic guy to another, it's what I like to be around. If you're listening to this show, one tip I'd like to give you, you can be as mellow as you want, but don't be that mellow person when you're trying to sell yourself to somebody else. So you could pick up your phone and you go, hey, it's Brad, how are you? Or you go, hey, how you doing? It's Brad, how you doing? Hi, how are you? Every single person you meet, when you meet them and get their phone number, they should immediately go into your phone. For instance, their number could be like their number, and then it could say Greg Fowler podcast. So when Greg calls me, it'll go Greg Fowler podcast, and I'll answer the phone. If it isn't my most favorite podcast, Greg Fowler, Real Estate Titans, and he'll laugh and love it. Do those kind of things that make people feel special and that they feel noticed.
Gosh, that's huge, Brad. And again, just the amount of information and wealth of knowledge is crucially important for everybody to pick up here, Brad. You have so much time and attention to detail with what you do and how you do it to the highest of levels. So I love
Greg, can I show you something?
Yeah. Yes.
I want to show you guys really quickly a couple different things that I do in marketing. So if you think your marketing is above board, one of the things I like to do is set myself apart from everybody else. So, when you're going on your listing appointment and you're going to meet someone, I want to show you what I come in with. Okay.
Oh, this is huge.
I don't really show anyone this kind of stuff, but I'm going to show you guys on Real Estate Titans. You ready?
There we go.
I made a yearbook style presentation book. This has a little bit about me on the back.
Wow.
This has my logo and everything, my phone number on the front. And then what I do for each client is I bind it, especially made for them. So I put in whatever I want to inside it. So if I go to Greg Fowler's house, it's going to say especially made for Greg Fowler. It's going to be bound. It's going to have all the comps, everything, and I leave it for them. Now, other things you can do is you can do pre-listing presentations. And I do that, and I ordered these, and then I make these, and these are videos. I don't know if this one will turn on or not.
Get out of here. And just in case, so if you're listening, the first folder that Brad held up, it was solid, glossy black, beautiful. Yeah. And so the second thing that he held up, also solid, bound, and there's a screen inside of it. Screen.
And you can put anything you want on it. So what'll happen for me is a lot of times I'll do it after I finish with my professional videographer, and I usually do my own presentations about the house. I'll then put it in here with a nice note, video note, and I'll give it to that person so they have something to take from their house for the rest of their lives.
Huge.
You wanna, and the reason I'm showing you guys this is what separates you from everybody else. Yes, you have to spend a little bit more money. You do, but guess what? You'll get it back, and you'll feel the pride you will feel from putting out a quality product, and the pride that your clients will feel and the credibility you will have with them will far outweigh anything else.
Unreal. And Brad, I do want to mention those because those are very slick. And again, if anybody didn't see that and you're listening, just go to the Facebook posts, and that way you can see it because Brad's got it. But Brad, where do you, he's tapping on it now. Where do you get something like that made? Is there certain companies that you use or recommend?
They're binding companies. Okay. I don't have it off the top of my head, but I'll tell you what, Anybody who wants to can go to my hrepodcast.com, send me an email. I'd be more than happy, or call me. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions you have and help you in any way I can.
Brad, that's huge. And I don't want to stop the flow of knowledge here. Is there anything else, Brad, that
I'm
you
good.
want?
I'm
Okay.
good. Listen, I just appreciate the platform.
Yeah.
I get excited, Greg. Like, I love real estate and I love talking about different ways of helping people. And I don't mind. Keep in mind, guys, you know, people have always said to me, like, why do you help people? Like, they're just going to copy you. And I go, great. But what if someone in your area does exactly what you do? I say, great. A, most people aren't going to do it. They just aren't. And B, if they do, then, and we have the exact same thing, it's me versus them. And then my personality is going to shine. So guess what? I welcome the competition. I want you to succeed. There's plenty of room for all of us in this world. Just don't short shrift real estate. Please really represent us and show how great it is to have a professional realtor. That's what I'd like to say.
Brad, you're the best of the best, my friend. And I can't thank you enough. I do need to dub this in. You are an official real estate titan. That is a badge of honor that'll keep on your heart forever. No one can ever take that away from you, my friend.
I like it.
That is yours. There's no plaque, trophy, but you know, it's in your
my heart.
That's it. That's it, my friend. But Brad, thank you again. Seriously, it was an honor and a pleasure, my friend.
Honor for me to be here, Greg. Thank you so much.
Oh gosh. And everybody, thank you as always for your time and attention and love and support. If you like here at Doing with Real Estate Titans, don't forget to like and subscribe. You know what to do at this point, but I do want to give our sponsor a quick shout out, Linebolt Media. If you are a real estate professional, you're looking to grow and scale your digital business online when it comes to really getting in front of the right people, right place, the right time, and lead conversion and nurture, please visit lineboltmedia.com. They got a free mini course in there that you can take. We are live here every Tuesday afternoon on Real Estate Titans, a different Titan, a different location. We'll catch everybody in the next live episode. Take care. Thanks, Brad.
Thank you.